I've been in dogs since 1991. We breed dogs that we want to train. I was out here in western Nebraska riding Harleys and training dogs. I don't sugarcoat anything, and if you don't like it, tough.
Welcome to the Flatlander Kennels podcast with Chris Jobman. My name is Elliott, host here tonight. We've got a very special guest we're going to be bringing on in a few moments. But before that, Chris, how's it going?
Good. I'm trying to get my computer set up just right. I'm all over the place right now. Doing good. Beautiful day today here. Just got in from training and going wide open right now. Got my partner, my little buddy Dave, little Dave behind me. You see little Dave?
There he is. Every time I see it, I think he looks like Opie from
a little bit,
for
sure. I agree with you 100%.
Of course, he's grown into be a much better adult than Ron Howard has. That's for sure. Guys, Anyway, do you want what we got going on today? Tell them about our guest and the partners, and we'll bring him on.
Yeah, we got a real good guest today. We've been trying to get him on for a little while. Real good friend of mine, Freddy King. Everybody knows in the dog world, most people know Freddy King and the retriever trainer. Real good friend of mine. I've known him for 20 years, I suppose. And I first met him years ago back in the SRS when he was filming, and met him through Chris Aiken. And we kind of run in the same circles. And I've been to his place and met his wife. And he's just a really, really good dude that loves dogs, loves training dogs, and loves to hunt ducks. So I think it's going to be a good guest to have. We kind of have for everybody out there, we kind of have a little bit of an outline, but unless you obviously you know me, how I talk, and unless you know Freddie, this could go any direction. This could go any way. So,
we're just going to open the cage gate and let him go.
Yeah. I guarantee it.
You know, I consider Freddie an absolute legend. He's like, I don't have very many guests I feel like this about, but I'm honestly, I feel a little starstruck whenever I talk to Freddie. I've done podcasts with him 2 or 3 times. He's like next level. He's like a legend, absolute legend.
In his own mind, he is for sure a legend.
Well, obviously in my mind as well, not just his own mind.
No, he's a great guy. He's done a lot. He has done a lot for the retriever community. I mean, I'm talking a lot. And he's really good at his content. He's really good at explaining things to people. And his wife Peanut's fantastic. They're just good all-American people. There's no other way to put it. He is a down to earth all-American guy, man, and that's why I really like him.
Absolutely. So we're going to hit the partners real quick, and then we're going to jump right to getting Freddie on here. And he does run theretrievertrainer.com, which I used a lot of that when training Georgie. And it's just incredible because he's got the Facebook group, and he jumps in and like helps people. He loves helping people train dogs. That's the thing that I think kind of separates his program from a lot of the other things out there. It's like the Facebook group, and he just loves helping people. He does. It's a phenomenal. It's like $60 a year.
It's ridiculous. $60 a year is next. I drink more of that Diet Mountain Dew a month than I do. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It is.
But he is a fantastic person, and what makes Freddie so special in my mind is he could tell people and communicate to the normal person how. For me, it's kind of difficult sometimes to communicate the technical aspects of the dog world because it comes naturally. I've been doing it for so long, right? So I say things, and Eric Tizon always gives me crap about it. He's like, nobody knows what you're talking about. I'm like, well, it's common sense. He's like, it's not common sense. and for Freddie does a great job of explaining that to everybody how they know and they can understand it. And he's just a great guy, man. And he's a lot like you and I and Chris and Eric and all my friends. We all have the same values. We all have the same beliefs. He's just a good human being, a great American.
Absolutely. 100%. Yep. So let's hit the partners, and we will bring him on here. Why don't you tell us about Marino Decoys real quick, Chris?
Marino Decoys is one of our
Marino. Sorry, not Marino.
Marino Decoys. Good thing I'm here to correct you today. So, Marino Decoys is good. Mike Marino is a good friend of mine. He hand carves decoys, and they are fantastic. He makes dog urns, And what people don't, if anybody watches or follows this podcast or anything, well, a really good friend of mine, Brett Riddle, who we've had on here multiple times, he owns a dog named Crown, and Crown has passed away now from cancer. And Crown was the first dog in the history of the world to pick up all 41 retrievable species of waterfowl in the northern hemisphere, basically. And he's passed away, and Mike Marino of Marino Decoys is doing his dog urn. And so that's a super cool thing. And Mike does a fantastic job. Dog urns, hand carved decoys you can hunt over, all of it. So give Mike Marino at Marino Decoys a shout out. And he is just like we are, down to earth, loves it, and great human being.
Yeah, if you're watching on Spotify, which if you're not, you can actually see the video version of this on Spotify app. I've got one of the Marino Decoys right behind me. They're just absolutely gorgeous. MarinoDecoys.com. Go and take a look at everything he's got. Other part I want to talk about is Mammoth Guardian Dog Crate. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you are a dog guy or girl. And Mammoth has a really fantastic dog crate that comes with a roll cage attachment. It's actually an add-on for a little extra price, and it allows you to strap your dog down in the back and keep him or her safe as you're traveling. But without the roll cage attachment, it can slip right into the back of your truck. So it's a phenomenal product. You can go to mammothpet.com or on Amazon, just search Mammoth Guardian Dog Crate. Guardian 15 will get you 15% off of that product. It's one of the product. All right, ready to bring Freddy on now?
We use them. We're using those dog crates in the kennel. They have rollers on the bottom, and I love the roller. We roll them around the kennel all the time. So it's a really good product. And the gate of a dog on the Mammoth dog crates is super strong. It's got three contact points. It's a really nice gate.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's go ahead and bring on Freddy King right now. Okay. Welcome to the podcast, Freddy King. We really appreciate having you on here. How's everything going? What is your day-to-day life right now?
Well, I mean, right now it's good. I unlike Chris and a lot of pro trainers, I don't take dogs till April 1st. So bow season just ended 2 days ago. What is it, March 2nd? 2 days ago. So after duck season, I bow hunted literally every day, tried to stick as many freezer queens as I could in the freezer, and just kind of getting stuff slowly straightened up and all that kind of mess before all the dogs come in. I put new tires on one of the rigs today, fixed flats on trailers, packed wheel bearings. So, just those things to get ready for training session. But, I mean, I'm actually taking it easy for a month before
good for you,
the dogs come in.
Yeah, we're in the middle of all that right now. And we train all winter, of course, but now they're all starting to come back. And I got trucks and trailers getting serviced and wheel bearings and all kinds of stuff. To get started. Most people don't understand that, and you do. But for us to get started in the spring, it's an expensive deal because we're servicing machines and Rangers and trucks and trailers, and we don't want to lose an axle going down the road. So we are constantly working on that stuff. And now is the time when we do it, so we don't have to mess with it in the summertime.
Well, that's just it. First of all, it's a nice weather to do it. And like you said, a little bit of pre stuff, I mean, goes a long ways, especially on them wheel bearings. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that sucks like being on the side of an interstate trying to pull a freaking bearing or push a bearing or brake races off.
Terrible.
I mean, it's flats are bad enough, but when you're dealing with bearings,
yeah, it's a bad deal.
Well, Freddy, you don't run hunt tests anymore. You still train dogs, but you're not actually running hunt tests anymore, right?
No, I still run. I will go ahead and put a HRCH on a dog, and in all honesty, 90% of my dogs, I'm going to tell you, they went to Aiken, and then they went there. Then here's what we did. I would get the HR finish tag or the C8 finish title on them, then I'd throw them on Chris's truck. All right. And that just worked out so much better for me because 90% of the time I didn't have but maybe 2 or 3 dogs going to the Grand anyway. But this might be one of the first times in a while that I've got a load going to the Grand. So I may have to be running them son of a guns myself.
So you going to run the spring Grand, Freddie?
I won't be running this spring ground, but there's a real good chance
Fall?
that I may have 7 or 8 at the fall. So, and
Woo!
I've run a ton of AKC tests, but I always throw them on Chris's truck and say, "Here, go knock these out," because he's going to run. And needed to know the dogs anyway because he's going to be running Master Nationals with them. So now that there's a good chance, and I'm sure you're kind of the same there, Jobman, about the Master National way things are changing there. It's kind of a little bit of a lot of folks are disgruntled with it, and plus.
Well, they're disgruntled. They're disgruntled with it. But here's the thing: I don't know if you heard all this, but they voted on that silly crap they were trying to pull last year, and you cannot limit the number of entries to the Master National. They stopped.
Okay, well, good. Well, okay, well, see, that tells you how
they
much
stopped it all.
All right. Once the duck season just started last year, I shut all that off, and I hadn't got back in. But anyway, here we're going to right here. So you need to come on down. We're going to be holding some double masters and all that kind of stuff right
there
here.
You go
in Searcy. So on the ground. So y'all need to come on. So I'm going to be running those, but. Back to your original question. Yes, I have still run hunt tests. I've always at least put champion titles on the dogs before I moved them over to Aiken's truck.
Chris takes them and fixes them.
Yeah, that's what he did. He's like, good. What you been doing this dog? I said, well, we ran the last couple of months. What are you talking about?
He always tells me, he's like, damn it, I should charge him double to fix all this crap.
I heard that. That's funny.
That's funny. Freddie, how long we know each other? I think we met, what did we do? We met back in the old SRS days when you were filming, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chris.
20 years?
Yeah, it's at least 2 decades. I mean, I'm trying to go back. And in all honesty, it's actually before then because if you think about it, I was doing a little bit of stuff with Tackett Yellow Dog. And that was a little bit before then, and we done some. So you were kind of brought on some of that Yellow Dog stuff there too. So, I mean, it's a good 25 years. I mean, it's
been a long time, man.
It's a lot of dogs. Watch your dogs through the lens a lot, and all kinds of different.
I would love to hear you guys reminisce about the old SRS days and what it was like, and even how, Freddie, did you get involved in filming it, and do you guys miss that portion of it? I mean, a lot of those, how many of those were broadcast on ESPN? Were all of them being broadcast or a portion of them?
I think for the
Freddie
first,
can tell you more than I can.
No, probably not really. But about the first 5 to 7 years, most of them were broadcast, and then especially then it kind of started petering down to where it was the Crown. And then maybe a few other special events went from being a year to a 6-month deal. And then it kind of got down to it as a specialty event and then Crown. But I mean, ESPN2 was carrying it there for a while. So, I mean, it was a big deal. And, And then
I remember we moved to the Outdoor Channel, then the Pursuit Channel. We kind of moved around a little bit. And back in those days, if you remember, Freddie, there was only 5 or 6 events a year and then the Crown.
Exactly.
And you had to go to almost every one of those events to qualify. And back then, we still are. We're sponsored by Avery Bandit, all them guys, and that's what was the main sponsor of the SRS. So and Doctra and all them guys. So we ran around, did all that, and it's not like it is now. Now there's an event. It seems like every weekend. But back in those days, man, there was only 5 or 6 major events.
Exactly.
Everybody was there. Everybody was there.
And and that was really what was so great about them as well, because I mean, there would be people coming from the West Coast, because they had to, because there was, like you said, only 5 or 6, and they were only in this area pretty much, maybe a 500 mile radius. And so everybody just piled in right here. So you got to see so many dogs, so much, and great dogs, so many people from different parts of the country, and everybody came together. I mean, so you got to see everybody, and that was really nice. I mean, it really was. And but the guys,
we were all pretty good friends. I mean, this
exactly.
Yeah.
There wasn't none of the hate like there is now. No. No, but no, seriously, but seriously, it was. I mean, everybody was. It was pretty doggone tight, even though it was a ton of people. It was a pretty tight group, and it's funny. It's awesome. It's not funny. It's awesome how that sport graduated to what it is right now. And people ask me, say, what do you think about trials, hunt tests, and this and that, and all that kind of stuff. I said, well, your top dogs, in my opinion, your very, very top dogs are going to be the ones at the SRS. That's just all. And it's only because they can play both games to the hilt, and they can back up. And that's why you see so many grand dogs doing great and Master National dogs doing great at the SRS, and a few dogs that are on the trial side of things. It's hard for them to break down, though. But anyway,
it is. I remember back in the day when we were running that thing. Chris and I and Scott Greer and all them guys. The core group of back in the day. We all hunt test guys, right? Mostly hunters, hunt testers. And I remember in that field trial part of the SRS, man, all we tried to do. Here was our thinking on that whole deal. We'll be all right in the hunt test savvy. We'll be all right in the hybrid hunt test deal. It's that field trial part of it, aspect of it, that we just had to stay close. We just had to stay close because that field trial aspect was tough because we didn't do that, right? We did a little bit of it, but not like some of them all age dogs that showed up. And their mentality was, we're going to beat them at the field trial part of it. Let's just stay close in the hunt test savvy. And then ours was, let's just stay close to the hunt savvy, or win that, and then stay close in the field trial because it's such a different game. And now everybody kind of runs the same sort of thing. And I'm going to tell you, it takes a very special dog to play that game. And I got out of it years ago. But it takes a very special dog to do that whole deal.
Why did you get out of it, Chris?
Why did I get out of it?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, man. I got tired of traveling, chasing it around.
I knew that was coming.
I'm telling you, man, I can't tell you how many Thanksgivings Eileen and we would always go to. We always had an event in Huntsville, Alabama in November, and we had to run that. And then we would drive from Huntsville all the way to Stuttgart to Max Prairie Wings and Wings Over the Prairie. And they had an event behind there. Yep. And then we always would do dog demos. We had the microphone in our mouth. And we had 1,000 people. We were all doing dog demos. And so I can't tell you how many sandwiches from a gas station I ate on Thanksgiving. And I'll be honest with you, I just got tired. I got tired of driving. And back in those days, Elliott, the Master National wasn't a title. So I didn't run the Master National back then because it didn't really mean anything. So I ran, of course, HRC in the Grand, and I ran qualifyings. I made a bunch of qualified all-age dogs, and I ran the SRS. So it kind of all meshed. Well, once the Master National became a title, then I had to make a choice. Am I chasing the SRS? Am I chasing all of it? So I just I got out of it, and I went just strictly running the HRC and AKC stuff. And I went a qual last year, but I haven't ran a qual in years before last year. So I kind of focused my deal on the HRC, the AKC, and gun dogs, and just got rid of the SRS because I'll be honest with you, you can't do it all, and you just can't do it all. You just can't do it all. So I had to make a decision.
Well, I mean, especially with and I'm just going on Jobman's behalf. The caliber of dogs that Jobman's putting out at what are you, like number 2 with Grand or 3 with Grand Pass dogs? And the whole those kind of deals, you can't do all that. I mean, that's just all it is. And go to the SR because you're changing too much. And then, like you said, once that Master National, once you started being able to put that MNH on your dog, then that's a game changer for a lot of folks running the Master National. It is.
And Chris and Aiken and I, we're real tight, and we kind of got out at the same time. He actually got out just a tad earlier than I did. And then I'll be honest with you, I was really nervous to get out of there because, and this is a fact. The back in the day, and Freddie was the cameraman, he'll know this, but back in the day, the SRS and the TV made a lot of us who we are, right? So it made Chris Aiken Chris Aiken.
So, exactly.
And Scott Greer and Liza and me and
Yeah,
whoever, Jake or Dozer, and Rhodey. It made our careers because it put us out there on the stage. And Justin Tackett, kind of was in charge of the SRS back then. And like him, love him or hate him, he's probably done, besides Freddie, and then I'll be honest with that, he's probably done more for the retriever world than any one person in history, because he had that show Water Dog, right? And
exactly.
I'll tell you what, people got up and recorded it. Back in VHS days, they recorded it. They did all that stuff, and it brought a ton of people in. And he kind of ramrodded us, and he really helped our career back in those days before all the BS on social media and Facebook and all that. We had TV. So that's what that kind of made our career. It kind of made our career. So, but then we just kind of all evolved. You only can chase it for so long. And my hat's off to like the field trial guys of the world. They're gone every weekend. I can't do it.
They gotta be,
man. But that's the same mentality the SRS was. You can't miss it. Yeah. You couldn't miss an event. So,
well, I mean,
that was our deal.
I feel you. I hear exactly what you're saying. It's a major deal in the dog world now. I mean, it really is. So, yeah. But going back,
I'm really happy for Shannon. Yeah.
In all honesty, yes, I'm glad to see what she's done with that. And a lot of folks don't know.
Yeah,
Shannon Doherty. I've been Water Dog TV, the SRS, and other things. I have been all over this country with a lot of different field producers, a lot of different field editors and stuff. And Shannon, every Water Dog episode she went on 100%. And the awesome thing is, I learned so much from her. I'll have to admit that. But the awesome thing is, she is by far the very best field producer and editor that I know of. All the people, and trust me, I've worked with the guys at Mossy Oak. I've worked with the guys at some, I'm not going to say their names, but some big production companies and stuff. And she pretty much blows them away. Just being able to see what she wanted, say, Freddie, get this, and then boom, come out with it and say, I knew you was going in a direction, but that outstepped my thinking by a long ways. So, but anyway,
she's fantastic. She's fantastic. She is.
She is.
I haven't talked to her in years, but she is fantastic.
Well, for some reason, she tried to call me today, and I did not answer. I was in the middle of something. But
anyway,
I need to follow back up. She'll hate me.
Well, when you talk to her, tell her I said hi, that we were talking together. So.
I will. I'll do that.
Yeah, maybe she would probably be a great guest to have on here and talk about.
She would. I mean, she would.
And the history of it, and the history. Nobody's ever had her on, as far as I know, and just the history, because she loves it. I remember back in those days, people kept telling her to quit, like just stop. She's like, no, I love it, and she could not stop. And
I promise you that some of the early startup stuff, and even some of the mid trials and tribulations of it, if you didn't love it, it would have gone in the tanker a long time ago, just because of so much,
Sure.
There was a whole lot of this there for a long time, but she stayed with it and melted it out and beat it with a hammer real good, and now it's turned into something. It's major. It's always been major, but
yeah, it is good for her.
It's been an extremely positive force in the dog world. I should say that, retriever world.
Freddie, tell us, because you're the owner and creator of the Retriever Trainer, and I remember when you first came out with that, I'm like, what is he doing? I mean, I knew you're always great with cameras, and you're always great with articulating to people and putting it into terms that people can. That's one thing you and Chris Aiken are so good at is you can articulate things to the average person that they understand, right? That's your big deal, the Retriever Trainer. Tell me and tell us what started that. What was the idea? What started that? I know your backstory with Peanut. I know all that. We don't need to get into all. But what made you want to do that? What started that for you?
Well, I think what truly started it for me is a lot of folks don't know that I filmed Chris's DVDs, Chris Aiken's DVDs. I filmed Danny Farmer's stuff. I've done a lot of stuff for side people. I've done a lot of stuff for Dobbs and a lot of the old guys, that kind of stuff. But also Water Dog TV. We filmed a lot of special episodes tips, check this and that and these kind of different things. And through all of that, I kind of saw something over the years. I said, man, everybody's just showing these fine-tuned dogs doing this and that, and people, they could see where they needed to go, but they didn't see all the ugliness that happened. But getting there, that the stuff that most people go, man, they go, golly, my dog is retarded. You know, they think my dog is absolutely stupid. I mean, my dog.
I said that 5 times a day.
Yeah.
At least.
I mean, seriously. Well, I mean, seriously, and I mean, you know, because and I'm like, and it's got to be something that you can help people as much as possible, and I always had this stuff in my mind. I even talked to and I went to Larry McMurray. This is about 10 years ago, and I said, listen, I've got this idea, blah blah blah. If the HRC, Hunt Retriever Club, or the UKC, whoever, if they'll just pay for my trips, all my travel expenses and stuff, I'll build it for free. I'll make it for free. And every time somebody joins the HRC, they become a member, you know, everybody can log in, do their deal. They'll also get access to a website to train their dogs. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to your kennel, film you spent doing this in certain aspects with the dogs, whether it's puppy or just drill work, whatever. Then I wanted to go to, you know, might go to Barry Lyons. Then I'd go to Aikens. Then I just traveled, but that's why it was going to take so much traveling, because I wanted to get everybody's input, have it all in the HR's kind of HRC group thing, put it in the deal, and then people could actually use the HRC, their online deal, my bobber, and, you know, talk about training and tips and have something that they could say, go and look at this, go and look at that. Sent Larry, and Larry come back. He said, man, they just don't see the cost effectiveness in it. And I'm like, oof, you gotta be kidding me. I said, you gotta be kidding me. And I said, and I said, all right. So I sat there and of course, social media was really taking off. I said, heck with it. I got to do it. I said, I'm fixing to start. So I just started filming these young dogs, 5 to 7 weeks old, started filming them, doing all their stuff. And as you know, me being a camera guy and being able to build websites and edit and all that kind of stuff, the cost effectiveness was extremely on my side. And I just started putting it together. And that's where it actually came from, going out and watch Chris and Farmer and Dobbs and I mean, even Lardy and some of those guys. I've been to a lot of seminars. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've watched a lot of dogs through lenses. I've seen a lot of, no, let's don't do this. Let's don't put this on a DVD. Let's don't put this on that. And I'm like, why not? You know, because I mean, I wanted to see all the good, the bad, the ugly. So that gave me the chance to come out with the Retriever Trainer and build something that showed dogs making mistakes all the way through and see the small little steps that they actually make. You know, to be able to look at a dog and go, that's my dog. And now we got, 16 dogs going through force fetch on the thing now. We got 8 different dogs going through T work, land T, and that kind of stuff. And of course, I used a lot of people's different, let's say, styles of training, kind of molded some things and added a lot to it to change it, to kind of give TRT its own thing. And we've got a lot of drills that I think a lot of young people getting into the sport can really, really sink their teeth in, and the active training, and they can see their dogs making these little bitty steps, and one little drill leads to another one. But the drills, they can actually see great progression real quick. So that keeps, I said young people, but that keeps new people to it kind of motivated. Because I knew no matter what, I had to keep them motivated. And that's where also being able to hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I do a lot of cheerleading. You know, people say,
Yeah.
man, I was about to give up on this, about to give up on that. And of course, one of the rough spots comes as force fetch. And he said, you just stay at it, just stay at it, just stay. I keep on them, keep on. And the next thing you know, they're like, man, this dog's got all the fire just driving to the pile now and blah, blah, blah. So, but it ain't nothing that you don't know. It's just, we've seen it 100 times. It's just, we've lived through it all. So.
Yeah.
100 times.
Well, you were the first person to do it, and it is fantastic. It really is. And what I like about it is it's technical, but you don't come off as a know-it-all and talk over people's heads.
Oh,
and I think that's the key to it, because you get some of the programs and some of the books out there, and people, I'm not going to name them, but some of them I don't care for. You read them.
Out.
Yeah, they don't even know what the terms are, and like, what does this mean? What does this mean? I'm like, and I think a lot of those programs out there on the books you buy, I think they make it so difficult, and they try to sound so much smarter than they actually are.
Yeah,
instead of just saying, hey, man, no, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And Aiken, he's force fetching on a damn pickup tailgate, and that's all you need.
Exactly.
And it's you do a really good job of that. You really do.
Yeah, Freddie. When I trained Georgie, I used the retriever trainer. And the thing about it that, to me, number one, the cost. I don't know if you know what your competitors are charging people.
Yeah.
You could.
He knows.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you need to up your rates. I'm telling you, you got to up. It's like you're giving it away to people. But the thing that's so incredible is when you watch a DVD series, you have a program, you run into problems and you don't know how to handle them. And the thing with the retriever trainer, with the Facebook group, you can go in and ask the Facebook group for ideas, and within 10 minutes you'll have 3 or 4 guys helping you. And later, not on every time, but a vast majority of the time, you personally chime in, or whether you agree with the thoughts. That is so invaluable as an amateur. Having okay, I watched the DVD, but I didn't show this problem. What do I do? The support around that community and you chime in on things, it was just unbelievably helpful as an amateur.
Well, and that's and what's you said it. That group is, I brag on them all the time. They are so awesome, and because there's so many groups out there, retriever groups. You ask a question, golly, man. I mean, some of the people, the way they get hit and hammered and stuff, and I'm like, man, and I'm gonna say it. I'm anal. I've had people kind of get a little bit belligerent with other members, and they're no longer there. I won't stand for it, because we have to all think of that person as ourselves. And at one time, I was an idiot when it came to dog training. I mean, I was a complete doofus. I mean, I didn't know nothing. I thought, and then you get one dog and you think you know something, and then maybe 2 dogs, and you kind of start thinking you're this and that of the dog trainer genre or whatever. Think you're the guru, and in all honesty, you still don't know squat. And a lot of those people there's people out there with an attitude think, well, this, man, I did it. Well, so what? What to do? You got to remember where you started from, what you were like, and treat those guys with. Here's the thing: it's first and foremost, it's all about the dog. And I try to remind people, it ain't about trying to. I kind of lost my train of thought there on the way I wanted to word it, but in the end, you want that person and their dog to become the very best team possible. And I say that all the time. That's why when somebody passes the hunt test, congratulations to y'all as a team, 100% to y'all as a team. So, and that's what's so great about that group is 99.9% of they're tight. They give straight up stuff, and there's none of that silliness you see on other pages. I kind of went.
You can post a question without being worried about feeling like a fool.
Exactly. You don't see all them anonymous questions and stuff.
Right.
Man, it is too. I'll tell you, you're exactly right, Freddie. I'm not a big social media person. I can't stand it, to be quite honest with you. But it's just ugly. And people ask a question on Facebook, they just get slammed. I mean, it is. Yeah. it's the ugliest thing I ever seen. And usually,
and I don't understand
people
that.
no, and usually people on Facebook that are answering the questions aren't worth a damn anyway. Because if they were good, they would be training dogs, not slamming people on Facebook. And you don't see the great trainers of the world on Facebook. And if you do see one, it's usually they're not slamming anybody. They're trying to help. But it's an ugly situation on there, man. And you do a really, really good job of stopping any bickering at all.
Well, and something to add to that, and from your aspect of getting dogs in and stuff, I also, to back up a little bit, I also saw so many people waiting a little bit too long on a lot of early development stuff with puppies. And I wanted to make sure that I covered that in TR, because nobody really was. And now I've got pros, and I mean, you've even said it, and folks that brought you dogs, and Aiken and all these other pro trainers, they say, hey, man, my pro thought, man, that my dog's doing an awesome job. He's way advanced, and it just makes them so much easier. You get a dog that's actually doing some 100-yard marks when he's 6 months old or coming in and got a decent delivery. Golly, you're so far ahead of what we normally used to get, let's say. Mm-hmm. So, you know how it was about 10 years ago. So, but anyway, I kind of rattled a little bit.
No, it's like we expected it. And hope for it.
Well, listen. I'm telling you, if we were in the same room, we'd be chasing squirrels. We'd be like at we can't stay on the subject, squirrel. And I mean we're horrible.
I'll say the last time we were all together, and to this day I tell people this, and my wife's not listening right now. She might listen to this someday, but it was me and Chris and Eric and Rhett and everybody at your house training. We were training for the Grand. And your wife, Peanut, put on the best display of home cooking I've ever seen in my entire life. I was about to move in. I remember me and T-Zon, we ate until we couldn't even move. It was the most incredible meal I've ever had in my life.
Well, the thing about it is she does that, and she's so oriented to Oriental. I'll use that Oriental word. I wonder if that's even some way to come together. But anyway, she is so oriented to that. Anytime somebody's coming on, she's fixing to coming over. She's fixing to, kind of like we used to be a long time ago, when somebody'd show up, man, they start getting the popcorn, getting this out. We're going to cook this. We'll get the grill going. Now it's like you're picking out the window. Who the hell is that?
That's exactly right. It's exactly right.
Well, Peanut's got that mentality. As soon as she knows, she said, "All right, we're gonna get this, and this," and she's gonna pull out all the stops. She's gonna make sure that her house is warm and welcoming, and then people, when they leave, it's all they can do to get out the door because they've ate so much. So.
I had never seen anything like it. And the crap talking between amongst us. Holy moly! It was unbelievable.
And that's what makes it so
good.
special.
It was good.
It was a good time. Really good time. I'd love to do it again.
We had a great time. Well, let's do it.
Who's the biggest talker out of that group? Who's the biggest trash talker?
I say Eric.
Aiken's going to be always. He's going to always come across the top. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because I mean, Aiken is pretty doggone sharp-tongued, quick-witted, and he's going to, you don't want to do your mama's so fat with him, because he's that kind of guy. He's going to pretty much beat you down.
The one that takes the brunt of it is my boy Rhett Riddle. He's such a nice human being. He's such a nice human being, and we just hammer on him, and then we start in on Eric, and then Eric starts in on all of us, and it's nobody's safe, Elliott. I'm talking the only person safe in that house that night was Peanut, because she was feeding us. Other than that,
exactly.
It was on. It was on.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun. It was
great group of guys. Awesome.
Yeah. Before we get going too far into this, I got a couple questions. So, who is and you can think about this for a while. We can come back to it. Who's the best dog that you ever seen run, that you've seen run an event, and who's the best dog that you've ever touched? Because you've seen a lot of dogs run the SRS. You've seen a lot back in the day, man. A lot of people don't remember these dogs. They don't remember these dogs.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I'm gonna have to probably back up to which I mean, Nike was great to watch because he kind of stepped down and did some things. I mean,
Nike was bad to the bone.
Yeah, he was, and I mean Nike was, and then dude's first win. I mean, that was pretty doggone strong. But I kind of go back to Boomer a little bit, and I've probably been a little bit, as far it's real hard to pick one because the thing about it was I seen all of them do the battles. The great thing about I was hired to do the SRS. Of course, I ran the first couple. And then, first of all, as an outdoor videographer, I could film. I knew I could watch a dog coming at me from line, and I could tell that dog's fixing to shoot to the right. That dog's fixing to get over here and break down. So I knew when to tighten up and when to back up, and I wouldn't lose the dogs. That's what changed it. So I was watching those dogs through the lens, and I seen so many of them just literally a blade of grass going right or left, added freaking 50 points to their score just on that one mark real quick. And so, but I could, in a heartbeat, but I'd sit there and I could watch those dogs running at me, and I got to see them from a different perspective than a lot of people did the whole time because I had a big camera, big lens. I was up on there tight. I was watching from the time they left. I was backing up, and I could see after I watched 2 or 3 run, I could see all the lanes and different things that were getting them in trouble. And what I'm getting at is I could actually see those dogs thinking, and where could tell by their gaze that they were looking out past spots that other dogs were breaking down, where their lock on was. And even if they might have jumped over a log this way just a little bit, they still corrected. Their heads never moved where they were looking. They just kind of saw in the peripheral needed to jump, if I'm making sense. And they'd keep on that line. And, I saw Boomer do that on 2 marks that sent him over the top. I seen Dude do it when literally every other dog broke down, and they were already, scanning, and he was just 100% locked in on that spot the whole way. And there's been just several dogs like that I hate to prime one above the other, but if I had to, I'm gonna probably have to lean toward Boomer, just because I seen him kind of hold a little bit more of a standard. And but dude did a couple of things that still in my mind really, really kind of go like, damn.
And who owned and ran those dogs?
Aiken was
Chris Aiken. Chris Aiken owned Boomer. Boomer. That was his
Durance.
big gun. And then Steven Durance had Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is how far back we go into this SRS stuff, Elliott. I remember when Steven, great dog trainer, right? Great human being, great dog trainer. I remember when he came to his first SRS in Huntsville, Alabama, I think is where we were at. And Eileen and I took him and Kendra to lunch at Zaxby's. We bought him lunch at his very first SRS. He was a baby. And then we were there before Lyle was running it or anybody. And so, like I said, I took Steven to his first lunch in SRS, and the rest is history with it. He's had a great career. But there was,
and it's
we're
because
the old
of the
guys
SRS,
now.
like you were saying earlier. Not that.
Yep, it is. No, you're good. No, it is. That made a lot of our careers. It really did. So, because before social media, that's all there was back then. So,
well, yeah.
Who's the best dog you've trained, that you've owned and trained or trained?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to always probably lean toward Thief, and Thief is that dog Thief is that dog. Don't get me wrong. I've had some awesome dogs. I mean, I had Casey, then Ike, and Teal, and Asia, and Thief, and I mean, it's just it's tough just thinking about it. But Thief, and not Thief was just an awesome animal out there, and truthfully, if I would have probably ran him on everything, we'd probably still be running the Grand if he was alive. And he would just do things for me that he won't do for anybody else. And that dog, I swear, it is crazy how much I could tell that dog absolutely loves me. I mean, it's nuts how much that dog actually, you know, you can just tell. That dog was
Oh, yeah.
100% till the day he died, Chris, in that house. He walked in there and walked in the little corner right there in our room, laid down, and he looked up at me, and I was already laying in bed. He looked up at me, and I got down. And I went and I scratched his head and come back in bed. And then Peanut walked in, and I could always tell, you know, and Peanut walked in, and I just shut my eyes. And she said, I think Thief just died. And literally he did right there. So, but
Oh,
anyway,
man.
and that's just the way he was. And so anyway, of course, that kind of connection we had always will put a dog over top. But I've had some good ones. I've touched some great dogs. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some dogs out there. Max Sharp's Black Attitude. She's a bad mammy jammer. She probably could have done anything.
Seen them all.
Yeah.
Seen them all. Trained with them all when Chris had them. And one thing I could tell you about Thief, not to interrupt you, Thief. One thing that sticks out in my mind about that, I watched him as a baby all the way because, like you said, you sent them all to Chris, right? So I've seen them all a lot, hundreds of times. Thief, you could dial Thief, like you could go. He would run a line, man. You could go. Okay, you're looking at 12 o'clock, and he'd look at 12:03, and he would take a line so good, and that was impressive. That's one thing I remember about him. Boy, he could do it. He could really line. That was fantastic.
He was, but anyway, you know how it is. You hate to go back and judge them against each other and stuff, but
yeah.
I've been blessed. You've been blessed. I mean, to have so many great dogs, be able to work with them, touch them and stuff, and that, you know, and in all honesty, that's something else that I love about TRT is the pure fact that there's 9 of those pups actually that go through that program. And from pretty much kind of a start to finish, 8 of them have got grand passes or master national plates. 7 of them are Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean that's about as strong.
And you mean the dog you use to make the content?
Yeah, starting off.
That's talking about
like Teach Life, Elliott, like Teach Life, Teach retired now, right?
Was Life for Teach.
Yeah,
right, Teach retired now. I watched her come from Freddy's to Chris's, and I watched her entire advanced life. Like it was amazing to watch from like Teach Life, right? And then all of a sudden there's a grand champion M&H. I mean, bad to the bone, and it's so fun to watch all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to see Thief in there, and you get to, I mean, Asia, all these, you know, Black Adam, and I mean, just it's crazy, and to be able to see them. And in all honesty, I probably shouldn't say it, but I've always kind of bragged on my dogs a little bit when it came time, and I've got 3 more in there. I think we're going to do the same thing with. We've already started filming some series with them, and at dadgum, I got a couple in there that. In all honesty, they shouldn't be with me. They should be on a trailer's truck. But anyway.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
What
Go ahead.
Is there any definable set of skills that elevates a dog from? Because when you're talking about these dogs, you're not just talking about the best dogs. You're talking like the best of the best. Are there any identifiable skills that takes a dog just from an amazing dog on your truck to a dog that you're talking about 20 years later?
Well, most of them are, and Chris, usually you can tell those dogs at the line. Those are the dogs that are the ones that I think excel the most or are extremely biddable at the line. They click with you. They you can tell it right here more than, of course, they got to do the work out there, but those dogs at the line, you can, well, matter of fact, I did a live feed one time, and Jobman said it all starts right here, and if they can't do it right here, they can't do it out there. So anyway, and that's true, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that just popped in my head, and us talking about that, and you can see it. You can see it, how well they're locking in, how, if they're moving, dancing around a lot, then, that dog's not going to mark it as well. But you can see it. Their mannerisms at the line, how poised they are, how hard they watch those marks. I mean, it's pretty well apparent. And that kind of stuff, in all honesty, when you're raising a puppy and you're bringing them through whatever program or whatever, then you can see it early on. They'll study
like
things.
Intensity, like it's an intensity, right?
It's
like
an
it's
intensity, but
when they're looking, they're alert. They're alert. Like they're right. I know what you're talking about.
You've seen it 100 times. That dog, it's an intensity. They're locked in, and you can tell that they want to explode, but they're able to contain it all. They're able, and that's what there's so many awesome dogs that have so much talent, but they cannot control it. I got one right now that probably you might have seen on a live feed last year that had e-collar on the neck, had one on the rear end, had a prong collar on, and I worked this dog all damn summer, all freaking summer, and I picked the dog up twice at the finish test. And I mean, the dog can do some phenomenal work, but just won't ever hold it together right here. And so that's the separation. Those dogs and you see it early on, it's intensity that is they themselves can control. We don't put that in there on them. It's kind of already ingrained in them. And I know Jobman's going to tell me a lot of us, and I'm sure he'll agree, a lot of us are responsible for that crazy dog named Riz. We bred them hotter and hotter and hotter, and we made them a little more insane, and we put a little bit of noise in them, that kind of thing. I don't care what anybody says. We're responsible for a lot of that. And people say, well, you can get that out of something. No, you can't get it out of all.
No. And Freddie, the thing I've noticed, not to interrupt you, but the thing I've noticed on what you're talking about, like you see it at the line, they're just waiting to explode, but they can contain their excitement. What I see in the great dogs of the world, so the Thiefs and the Boomers and the Flashes and the great dogs of the world, is they're about to explode, right? I'm trying to try to explain this a little bit better. They're ready to explode, and they have that intensity. And the dogs that just are almost, they have it, they can't quite get it, is they take that intensity and that energy, and it comes out in noise, or it comes out in creeping, or it comes out in bouncing around, and they don't know what to do with the intensity. It just comes out, and it's like in like a plug in a water hole, in a water leak. Plug this, and it shoots out this side. Plug this, and it shoots out that side. The great dogs, there is no leak. They take that intensity and that drive and desire, and they use it to their benefit. It adds to their focus. It adds to their eyesight. It adds to they harness that energy, and when they explode, it all comes out in most of the time positive. They use that intensity to their benefit. Where some of the dogs are almost those great dogs, but they're just good dogs. They don't know what to do with all that intensity, and it shoots out in the bad places, not in the good places. If that makes sense.
And I know you've seen it. Oh yeah, you made perfect sense there. And I know you've seen it 100 times. You step up there, you have a hunt test, whatever, and it's a triple, and it's a good setup. Say, man, what the hell are these judges doing? I've got seasoned dogs here, and they're running a grand test. Anyway, I just had to throw that in there. So we step up there to the line with this nice little dog, and the second that punch, the memory bird, the first bird out, punch bird usually, comes out, and you're looking down or you're shooting, whatever, and you can tell that dog, the way it's locked in on it, and you just kind of drag it off or push it to its next mark, whatever. You can tell that dog is never, ever, ever going to forget that mark. You can pick those two marks up, come back, run the blind, and that dog is still going to nail that mark. And I mean, and that's just, don't get me wrong, we got to train it. We got to train it. We got to nurture it, and we got to roll it around, putty it all up, and patter it with our own little stuff, and actually do some training. But there's something in that dog that sets it aside and apart from all the other ones. And Thief was that kind of dog. You've had tons of them like that. And they're just those kinds of dogs that you can tell, and it starts at literally 7 to 8 weeks old. You can start telling. You know, it's that's why that Asia litter. After I had a Blackadder 1, and then I had a dog named Libby, and she's a grand dog. Matter of fact, she's on there too. And after I got them 2 dogs, I bought that whole litter except John Brochek. You probably know John. He bred.
I know John.
He bred to that same gal again with his pup, and I told him I want everyone. Well, I can't have everyone, but you can have all the females, and he's going to have one. So they had one male, or had 2 males. I got to have 1 male, and then all the females. I raised all of them till 9 weeks of age, and I said, Peanut, we won't keep this dog right here, and of course Peanut's, no, we're keeping this one right here. I said, come on, baby, we want this dog. Well, anyway, and the one I wanted was Blackadder. The one she wanted was Asia. So we, everything. But that whole litter, every single one of our grand dogs. But anyway,
and the best dog I can remember there's 2 of them that come to my mind right now that I personally didn't own or train. So I'm not going to toot my own horn on this deal. But Boomer, Chris Aiken's Boomer, the harder it got, the better he was. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, you'd watch him train, and you'd be like, he's a good dog, right? He's a good dog. And you go to the show, and it was like Michael Jordan lacing him up. He's like, let's do this shit. I mean, he's 4-wheel drive, nitrous, and dude, he's moving around a little bit. Don't get me wrong, because he was a beast. But the harder he got, there was never a setup. There was never a test. There was never that was too big for him. He was so cocky in a good way. He's like, I got it, boss. Just get out of my damn way. I got it.
That's it.
And the better he got.
He'd look back at Chris.
That's him, man. Yeah, Chris is like, I'm just taking birds. I'm just taking birds. And then the other one that I saw do that a lot was Dude. Steven, he summered out here one summer, 10 years, long time ago. And I watched Dude in training, and Dude loves a bumper. That was his thing. He loves bumpers over birds even. But I would watch Dude train, and I'd be like, he's a good dog. But then he would go to an event, and I'm like, holy damn. I mean, he's just a different animal. He rose to the occasion. And those dogs, like you're talking about, the Thieves and the Boomers and the Dudes and the Flash of the world, they just rise to the occasion. You can't teach it. It's that it factor. And Freddy says you see it early. Like you're like, this one right here. Like this one right here is the one. You see it real quick. And that's one way of putting it. But it's fun to watch those. And Bill Autry's Cody was the same way. The longer he got into an event, the longer he got into an event, the better he got.
I got a picture in there, matter of fact, when you said that about Cody, I got a picture in there of Bill and Cody at a hunt test, and I think he got his HRCH title, Pin Oak Flooded Timber Test. Wow! And I got it in there, and I took that picture years ago, and I've been meaning to give it to him, but I kind of hung it, and he ain't gonna get it.
Mr. Bill is the nicest human being you've ever met in your entire life.
I'll send you that picture later. You'll go, holy.
Yeah, you should. That'd be great. Those are legends. Those are legends before legends were legends. I mean, they were
Exactly.
fantastic.
Well, I mean, that was, and that's something else that helped me, not to get off the topic. But when I got into the retriever world, I jumped in the middle of a very, very strong group of trainers. In other words, they may not have been pros, but they were strong. Now, don't get me wrong, Chris, being a pro I've known Chris for 30 years. So, in matter of fact, Chris traveling around in that Toyota to go to hunt tests and stuff. We all traveled. But I jumped in the middle. I jumped in the middle with Larry McMurray, Dana Giovanello, Tom Thrash, and just that group of guys there that was, they were pretty tight. And I mean, their standards were extremely high, and what they expected of dogs
still are.
Thing. And still are 100%.
Still are.
And that's why I'm lucky to have been where, as far as to progress my training as quickly, because I learned a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I learned a lot from those old guys. I tell them that all the time. So anyway.
Yeah. But I remember years ago, and we should try to do this, and LA doesn't know anything about this, and most people don't, but years ago, that's when COVID hit. You were going to put together a grand seminar, remember? You were going to put a grand seminar, and I was coming to Arkansas, and Freddie was going to put a grand. It was going to be Chris and I putting on it.
We got to do that. We got to do that still.
We need to do that. We were going to put on a 2-day grand seminar, and it was going to be Chris and I and Freddie putting on the seminar and filming it and getting all his TRT members there. It was going to be a big deal, and then then the COVID hit and it ruined it all. But we should do that. We need to do that still.
No. Cool. In all honesty, we need to do that. And if you could do it longer, it's just hard for everybody to get together that long. But like a 3 to 5 day workshop on that would be just awesome. But
I'd be
2
down
days
for that,
sure.
100%.
So because something like
I'd do a 3 or 5 day deal.
Yeah, I mean, and seriously, something like that needs to be filmed just for the pure fact that filmed and put out there for folks to see, because I mean, it's something people have issues with, getting their dog to that next level and to be able to maintain a standard throughout the whole grand, and it starts with a grand training. So, but anyway, that'd be good stuff. So.
We need to put that together. It's going to be hard getting Chris to say yes, but we'll get him. We'll get him.
So, Freddie, you've dealt with a lot of amateur trainers with TRT. Are there common themes that you've seen over the years develop with problems that amateurs tend to have?
Well, of course, there's kind of some common things. Most of them. Here's the thing with most of the new trainers. Their confidence is zero. I mean, they have virtually no confidence in themselves being able to raise and train the dog that they perceivably see in their minds. So they lack that confidence. So they still try, but they're not putting the effort that they really should be into training. And that's one great thing that I like, being able them to hit me up, because like I said, I'm a cheerleader to most of them, and I keep them going and going. And now usually once their dog gets around the 6 to 7 months mark and they're actually starting to see some wheels start spinning and some lights come on, those kinds of things, then I'll start hearing less and less and less from them. So And so the main thing definitely I see that a lot of them lack is confidence. That's the first thing. And I mean, heck, it's just like, I mean, I can remember my first dog. I didn't know what I was going to have. I was going to give it a go, but I'm a little bit different than most people. I'm kind of like Chris. We got an extremely strong work ethic and don't much scare us to grab a hold of a bull by the horns and take off. But to a lot of people, that's, it's a big deal, to try, especially somebody that ain't had kids too. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off subject.
And to get on that, Freddie, is the reason why they don't have confidence is because they're scared to ask a question, because most pages, unlike not yours, they're scared to ask questions because they just get slammed. Like they just get. I'm not talking bam. I mean, come on, guys. And that's why your TRT is so great. There's none of that there, and because you don't know what you don't know, right? And they don't have any confidence because if they ask a question, the Facebook trainers of the world just hammer them. Like it's not right.
Yeah, and so many questions I get lead off just like, man, I hated to ask this in the group because I didn't want to seem stupid or whatever, and didn't want to get hammered. Yeah. So, and they do. So I said, dude, listen, you can ask anything you want to, but I'm right here anytime you want. But confidence, that's the main thing. And in all honesty, other than that, me just cheerleading them to keep going when things, a lot of times they'll freak out about this or that, giving too much pressure or something. But most of them is just the fact that if they'll just keep seeing those little steps, they kind of they'll gain momentum as they go through the program. And you can see the really confident ones now that they're posting, their second dogs now going through the program and that sort of thing in less than 10 years. So, and that's awesome. But I'm going to say lack of confidence for most of them starting out is going to be probably my top thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, of course,
or ego. It goes both ways. You either have one person that's lacking confidence, and then you have the other person that has too much confidence in their ego. Ego's ruined a lot of dogs in this world. Ego's ruined more dogs than anything. And so you have the both spectrums. You got both spectrums for sure.
You do, for darn sure.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good stuff. Chris, what do you think? We got anything more we want to talk about?
Freddie, you got anything you want to talk about?
No, I mean
we are not talking about flooded corn. We are not talking about flooded corn. We're not doing it. We're not doing it, Freddie. We all have the same opinion, and we're not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, I had a meeting last week. We did a meeting with Game and Fish on some other stuff, and some of the guys that were there, they wanted to bring that up. And I'm like, dudes, really? What the hell does Arkansas Game and Fish have to do with flooding corn? And I mean, it's just so many people want to bitch and gripe and whine and cry. And, we just had the second driest duck season in Arkansas's history. And I mean, but anyway, like you said, let's don't even go that route. I'd rather stick
Didn't
with
you guys beat them down in January, though?
Oh, yeah. No, we beat the snot out of them once we finally started getting some weather. If we would have had water, they would have stayed around better. But we just didn't have the water to hold ducks.
Oh.
I mean, it was absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
Oh, you mean when you said dry? I thought you meant lack of ducks. You mean just literally no water?
Literally, no. I'm talking about this.
Gotcha.
The December was the second driest December on record, and January, I think I have to look, but I think January was either number one or number two, and February is shaping up to be within the top 2 or 3. But dude, right now, you wouldn't believe the birds here. I can send you a video right now over on one of our places that the amount of ducks here. There's nobody out there hunting them, so what are they doing? They're coming in, and they're just having a ball over there right now. So, I mean,
like I said, it's lack of water. When I went down hunting with Chris there, Elliott, at the end of January to finish the season, like I always do, some of his best spots at the temple were dry, zero water.
Yeah.
And if you weren't pumping it out of the river or something, you didn't have any. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, good luck with the river too, because I mean, even like Chris, where Aiken's spot is, they're pumping out of there. I mean, it'd be hell for him to get water to be able to even flood that the way it is right now. But every single timber hole that I call my home had zero water. I'm talking about zero water. Cache River, I'm going to go ahead and say the name, is one of the top rivers that I would hunt, and I've been hunting here in Arkansas 51 years, right in there somewhere, 51 years. And I have never, ever, ever not seen the Cache River during some point in its duck hunting months of open season. I have never, ever seen it not get to at least 7.5 feet. This year, it never got above 3.2. And when I say that's
Wow.
low,
It's
that I mean
crazy.
that's low enough that you can't even drag a boat off of the ramp, the drag one off your trailer, and you're not going nowhere. I mean, that's horrible for the whole duck season. It was that way.
Yeah,
People had to walk
yeah.
to different
Well,
spots on the river.
well, and you hunted Bobbyland with Chris, I'm sure. That's my favorite spot down there, and
Yeah,
you
there
might as well
wasn't
hunt
no
the
water.
squirrels there. There was no water in the trees, like zero. Crazy.
No water there. A lot of places were like that. 17,000 acres of WMA had zero water. One of my second favorite place to hunt, it had zero water. So, I mean, in all honesty, I never stepped in a hole this year to shoot ducks in the timber in my favorite spots at all. Anywhere. Matter of fact, we'd
Yeah.
either hunting some willow breaks that were pumped up, or river, the big river, and oxbows. That's what we were left to hunting. And then the
Yeah.
Is
oxbows
everything
are
you're
horrible.
hunting private, or do you still hunt some public?
No, I still hunt public. I'll hunt public probably 35-40% of the season if we got water.
Okay.
But until we get a certain amount of water, I won't go there anymore, just for the pure fact, the amount of pressure. I mean, don't get me
Right.
wrong. Arkansas has really, and a lot of other states. I mean, we and a lot of people say, well, Freddie King, you're one of the reasons for it. Well, whatever. If I had that much input on amount of hunters coming, well, first of all, what I'm going to say is I'm damn glad I have. First of all, just for the pure fact, we got to have every one of us swinging goobers. We can't, or we're going to lose our hunting rights. And that people just want to be, this is mine. Don't want to share nothing with anybody. And I can understand that, once you get so much pressure in the area, you got to do something. But I can understand that, but you can't whine at everybody that wants to experience something that only Arkansas has, and that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. But, of course, social media and stuff has turned things. But I'm not going to be the guy I may say, man, we got a lot of hunting pressure, and I can see it coming. I got videos 10 years ago talking about this. The exact same thing. I can remember when they first started the first federal refuges around here, and people were grinding. They're holding all the ducks. We can't kill no ducks. We're going to have to start hunting them every 2 or 3 days. And then one thing, and that was 15, 18 or 19 years ago. It was the same exact argument with the less amount of people, and we were still kind of halfway killing. I mean, we were killing ducks, but and we're going to always kill our ducks when the situation, the weather right, and all that kind of mess. It's just a whole lot more of us doing it, and we blow the ducks out a lot faster. So, I mean, it's just like that big old...
absolutely no doubt.
I mean, 100%. We turn just like that buck in the background of there at Elliott's place. If somebody had been hunting him, or he did guide pressure, he would have went nocturnal, and he'd never be on that wall there. So, and I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. Everything that feels pressure goes nocturnal if they have the ability to do it. Ducks, 100%. Go nocturnal because of hunting pressure. Then they learn to avoid an area because of hunting pressure. And then when this happened, people say, well, this is happening in Louisiana. Well, Louisiana had the most hunting pressure on the Gulf Coast for years, the most hunters and everything. And it slowly whittled them all the way up to Arkansas. Now we're taking over, and we're slowly pushing them to where they ain't got to come down as far.
Yeah.
A lot warmer weather and stuff. Boy, I thought we wasn't getting on this corn stuff, but I ain't gonna miss it.
I knew it.
But anyway, I mean, people want to go back. Well, since we're grabbing, let's grab a little bit more. And so we've just slowly whittled them on, pushed them on. As long as the weather don't push them, they don't come south. But people won't look at this data.
Yeah.
I saw a deal where they had these radio collars on the ducks this year, and coming from the Five Oaks did it. and all them ducks were, boom, boy, they were zipping through the states, and all of them were conglomerating around the Arkansas city, with the Arkansas Post, the old Arkansas City area, and that's where the Arkansas and the White and Mississippi all kind of come together. That big circle. There was thousands of ducks right there. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of ducks that people could not get to, that were staying there on those big bodies of water on the rivers. And then they were also hitting a lot of oxbows that people couldn't get to without doing a lot of work, and they were on them thick. But and then that was this past season. But here's my deal. Most duck hunters today have been hunting, let's say, mid 90s, early 2000s. All right. 90% of the duck hunters out there today cannot remember duck hunting without a spinner. And as soon as that spinner come out, that was in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
If you duck hunt, if that was your first year of duck hunting, you absolutely thought you were the very best duck hunter in the world, because you could kill ducks on a Walmart parking lot. I killed ducks for 8 or 10 years. I killed ducks for 8 or 10 years from the time they come. We made our own, and for spinners, I killed ducks in places ducks should never have been killed. That is no lie. I killed them in places where I said, "Hey, I know we can kill them right here," and they would just, and that's what happened. So many people got so used to that, and then just how easy it was, and it's slowly trickled down, and the hunting pressures come up. So, and I call them people spinnerized people. They've been spinnerized. In other words, spinnerized into thinking that they were the most awesome days and duck hunting and stuff. Because I remember the 2 duck days. I remember the 30-day duck seasons, and like I'm gonna tell every swinging dick out there, back when it was 30-day duck seasons, I might have been able to hunt 6 to 7 days a year, because first of all, my butt had to work 5 days. I could hunt Saturday. Sometimes I got off to hunt 1 day a week. And then if I didn't have my butt in church Sunday morning, Grandma would wear me out. We didn't miss church back in the 80s to go duck hunting. We didn't miss church to go deer hunting. And that's the way it was. So think about that. 6 to 7 days. Back then, those 30, all the way up to, let's say, 88, 89, even probably 89, close to 90. We did not hunt like we do now. We hunted maybe 6 to 10 days at most of a 30-day duck season. The amount of pressure was less. We made darn sure that we, most time we did not hunt Sunday morning. We made darn sure we were in church on Sunday mornings. Then today, this past year, last year and this year, both, I have hunted 60 freaking days each day, each year. Mm-hmm. 60
and days. Back then, Freddie, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a Go Devil guy, so I don't need them up here. But back then, you didn't have the surface drives, right?
No.
So you couldn't get. So the ducks that were way back in the bayou or wherever you want to call it that you couldn't get to back in those days, now you can get to those birds.
Well,
so they have no place to go.
Well, it wouldn't matter now with the amount of pressure. It wouldn't matter if everybody was on foot, because there's so many of us swinging gooses that we're going to go everywhere that we can. Because, I mean, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. The places that we used to go in Colorado years and years ago elk hunting, we wouldn't see nothing. Now there's 25 camps. And
at least,
everybody's got to do the same 14-mile trek to get in there. All right. So there's just that many more of us doing it. So I don't care if how good a shape you are in, you're still going to go. If you thought there were ducks back there 3/4 mile, you're going to get to them. And matter of fact, we're proving it right now, because people are like, the early part of the season this year was some of the roughest hunting that there is, and people were having to walk in a mile and a half to go chase these, and they were doing it, and it wasn't just one little group of guys. It's like 25 hunting in a stupid hole. You've seen the pictures of them hunting around, 25 guys. Those holes here in Arkansas, they're walking in a mile to get through some nasty stuff to get there. But going back to what I was saying,
that's Elliott. That's right up Elliott's alley. He'll walk in there. I'm not walking in there.
But all I'm trying to do is state the obvious facts that 100% we hunt. Each one of us, myself, yourself, Elliott, we all hunt more than we did back then. The younger generation hunts more. That are hunters hunts more than us as young people did back then. And like myself, last 2 years, I've averaged 60 days, hunted all season this year, every single day, never missed a day. Last year, I never missed a day. Year before that, I had 57. Year before that, I had 58. And I mean, Chris Aiken, this is the first year Chris has missed days since his boy was born. So
he went to the SHOT Show.
Yeah,
he was a SHOT Show, and I'm like, what are you? What are you doing?
Yeah,
he was at the SHOT Show. He goes, I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, he won't. But so you have to. The bulk of us duck hunters, and Elliott, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. The bulk of us duck hunters now are going to average at least 30 to 45 days of duck hunting. Am I wrong?
Yep.
No, 100%. I think there's actually less waterfowl hunters now. We've lost 35% of the waterfowl hunters since 2000, but I think there's way more hardcore, like you're saying. There's just way more hardcore waterfowl hunters than there was in the past, which equals more days in the field.
Well,
and I think social media has a lot to do with it too. Social media has a lot to do with it too.
It does, but it's like anything like that. That's a fun sport to do. It's going to really, really, get some traction and go. Duck hunting is a great community sport,
Well, so game hunting has dropped off, and then you had Duck Dynasty, which popularized it at the same time. In the 80s, when I grew up, Central Kansas, it was upland hunting was the thing to do. And now Midwest, that's really taken a hit, and you don't see people doing it anymore. And then with the, Duck Dynasty making it cool to waterfowl hunt, that sparked it. And there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
there's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody. We don't need. And I always tell people, man, we don't need to be fighting amongst each other. No. People are trying to kill our sport. We all need to just get along, as far as I'm concerned.
What is it? Is it Washington? There's one of them, Oregon. One of those states right now has on their ballot to end all hunting. Hunting and fishing.
Really?
So they've got all kinds of crazy stuff on that ballot, and a lot of folks. And it's coming.
That's got to be.
That's why
straight out of Portland. They need to burn that city down.
No, I'm telling you, 100%. But anyway,
I think it's Oregon, but I'm not sure.
But anyway, I can tell it's starting to get dark on me, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Hey, Freddie, let's do this. Let's just get Chris and let's get him pinned down, and I'll come down there to you guys, of course. Let's do that 3 to 5 day workshop on a grand and stuff. And I'd love to do that with you guys.
I think it'd be super duper fun. I think it'd be fun, and not only that, I think it would be it's going to be entertaining, like I said, fun. But it's going to be, it's really going to be something that a lot of folks can walk away with and definitely come out with a better dog or being a better team, not a better dog, but a better team. Mm-hmm. So that's what it takes for darn sure.
Let's do it. I'm in.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been an awesome conversation.
I've had fun, guys. Seriously. It's been probably one of the best podcasts that I've done. Just a lot of, back and forth, good banter too. Usually happens when you get Freddie, idiots in the same room.
I'm telling you, Elliott, you should have been a fly in the wall at his dinner at his house, boy. I'm telling you.
I wish I was there.
It was so bad that, Eric T's on. He says he's 5'3", but he's probably 5'1 and a half. And he's like, we were giving him so much grief. He's like, I'm going outside to hang myself. And Aiken goes, what, from the mailbox?
Yeah.
It was the funniest. We were dying.
Yeah, well, let's set it off with that damn dog chewing the trailer lights off of his truck, the brake lights.
Did you hear that story, Elliott? So
No.
I'm running a dog, and my phone goes ding, like a text message, right? So I'm looking at my text message, and it's a video of a dog just shredding trailer wires from underneath. So I think that we tie him out.
Yeah,
and that dog's it's just shredding the wires underneath the damn trailer. And I'm looking at him like, ha! I'm like, that was my damn trailer. And Eric is video of this dog eating my wires and then sends it to the group.
He didn't even try to stop it.
Was it one of your dogs, Chris?
No, it was a client dog eating my wires under my trailer, just shredding. Eric's like video laughing. Oh my God.
He didn't even stop it.
No, he didn't try to stop it. He was laughing and giggling and anyway, that's our group. But
that's awesome.
It's great.
Good
well,
stuff.
Freddie, I can't thank you enough for coming on, buddy. You're a great human being. What you do at TRT is fantastic. Tell everybody where they can find you at and what you got going on.
Listen, TRT is simple. Just go to www.theretrievertrainer.com. Make your membership. Hit me up. Let me know you become a member on Facebook Messenger or email. And boom, I'll put you in a private group, and then I'll help you get started. And the great thing about TRT, like I said, is I am 100% with you the entire through the entire training process. So you have, let's say, your own true retriever coach the entire time. That'd be a guarantee.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, guarantee. Awesome. Thank you, Freddie. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Elliott. We'll see everybody at the line. Take that aim.